So 5G NR is the global standard that's going to be for the big deployments in 2019. That is being defined by 3GPP. And 3GPP just completed the first step of the 5G NR standard in December this year. So that sets us up for trials later this year, as well as the commercial launches in 2019. Yeah, to reach the commercial launches, we need to meet key milestones. And one key milestone was obviously that the standard was completed. But we don't have to wait for the standard to be completed to start to work on implementing the standard. So we started early on to build prototypes. We announced our first NR-based prototype in 2016, mid-2016. We had the first NR-based call at Mobile Congress last year in 2017 based on the 3GPP standard. So what we use these prototypes for is to propose and verify ideas for standardization, but also as the standardization progresses and decide upon key implementations, we can implement that into the prototype. So that means that when the standard was close to completion, we could already start interoperability testing with partners, infra vendor. That is a key step to get to commercial launches, because the device has to work with the base station from Ericsson and ZTE and all the other vendors. So we showed the world's first spec compliant connection in November last year with ZTE in lower bands, 3.5 gigahertz, as well as with Ericsson in December, also including the millimeter wave bands. So what I can say is that we, together with ZTE and Ericsson, demonstrated the first spec-compliant NR connection, and no one else has done that. We also announced already in 2016 our X50 class of modems for commercial launches in 2019. So we are committed to be able to deliver high-end smartphones, solution for high-end smartphones in early 2019. So that is also something we will do. We will also enable trials in the second half of this year. So that demonstrates our leadership in making 5G NR reality in 2019. So I see that more like an expansion of the ecosystem. So the fundamental technology that is needed to make enhanced mobile broadband in 2019 necessary, that fundamental technology is used also to expand it into automotive sector, to IoT and so forth. So if you don't have leadership to start with in LTE, the foundation, because a lot of the innovations and technologies that go into 5G NR are based on LTE. You will not succeed in leading 5G either. And if you have leadership in mobile broadband, that fundamental mobile platform, that platform is going to be expanded into the IoT, the automotive and other industrial IoT segments. So I see it a little bit the opposite. The industries on the automotive side are getting into the 5G ecosystem, but the fundamental connectivity solution is provided by us, and we are helping them to succeed and providing additional solutions to, for instance, make the autonomous or automated car of the future possible, as well as driving the factory of the future with ultra-reliable links so you can move the automated robots around more freely and flexibly for change in production, for instance, when they are wirelessly connected versus wired connections. So since 5G NR is a platform for unifying connectivity platform supporting multiple segments, IoT, ENBB and so forth, it depends on the phase in some sense, because the initial phase is focused on enhanced mobile broadband. So the initial killer application is enhanced mobile broadband to meet the incredible demand for mobile broadband services that we have and unlimited data plans. And in sense, that first phase is going to solve the demand for the smartphone. So the similar applications as we have for the smartphone today, but with enhanced user experience, elevated user experience, because part of what 5G NR is doing is to provide a more consistent user experience. You have good data rates everywhere, but also higher data rates through, for instance, millimeter wave in dense urban areas, but also sub-6 to add to the experience. So part of that is supporting the data demand. Eventually, in the longer term, you will see new applications and new form factors like AR and VR and so forth, augmented reality and virtual reality. But initially, in 2019, it's going to be the smartphone again with use cases that's similar today. Eventually, 5G is going to expand into additional use cases, and you talked about the automotive industry, and we see one expansion with the C-V2X already happening. It's already standardized. We can be ready by it in 2019. We have announced chipset, but that is continuing to evolve in 5G NR to support the automated car of the future. I mentioned also industrial IoT. If you talk about, you also asked about killer application for the IoT, or some people call it the massive IoT, or the connection of tons of sensors, low complexity, low power devices, very, very different from enhanced mobile broadband. It's about pushing a lot of data and high complexity. So the interesting thing there is that we have a good solution today in LTE. It's called EMTC, in narrowband IoT, that's being deployed now on a global scale. And that is actually going to be the initial solution to sort of meet the massive IoT demand for 5G. And when 5G NR is going to be submitted to IMT 2020 to be approved 5G technology, you will actually include the LTE technology as well. So LTE IoT is the initial solution for the massive IoT. Eventually, there will going to be an IoT solution in NR as well. So, I mean, we have passed a couple of key milestones already by having the standard completed, the first interoperability testing that continues. We also have to go out in the field and do trials. There's always hurdles because the good news is that we've done it before, and this time we can do it even faster than the previous generation. We work to do the prototyping in parallel with standards. We have solved a lot of issues. Like, if we had waited, for instance, until the standards was ready and then started to implement, we would be in trouble now. But now we have verified all the implementation in the prototypes during the standardization progress, and we have a solution that is interoperable with other vendors already as the standards complete. So I'm confident that we are ready for high-end smartphones in early 2019. I think we would have to discuss it a little bit more internally first, but it's definitely an opportunity for blockchain in app development or other application. And I would probably have to get back to you another time. It looks like a promising technology in general anyway, but I'm not the expert. I mean, I'm not the expert, I'm just read about it, and I thought it was exciting that you can transfer trust in a way, in a more distributed manner. Versus a centralized manner, and that's always something that is exciting, or maybe solving some of the centralized issues with trust and security. So yes, the concept has some appealing benefits.